Next time you're in Dollar Tree, head on over to the Crafter Squares section and grab some of their mini wood pallets. These right here are the perfect size to make coasters. We're gonna make a set using some of Dollar Tree's transfers and some of TDS transfers. If you're ever looking for something to keep your coasters in, Dollar Tree has these wood slat crates that are the perfect size to house 4 pieces, which is typically what a set of coasters is sold with. But for today, we're just going to make a set of 2. I don't know about you, but I'm always switching out my coasters, whether I'm using towel or wood, and these are always perfect to remix depending on your mood, really. You could make these every day if you got them sitting in your stash. I love the fact that transfers are a unique way for you to mix and match the different brands and get cool creative looks for really whatever your style is that day. There are a bunch of different ways you can finish off your coasters. I keep these little soft touch circle pieces that I pick up from Home Depot in my stash. I also use the cork from Dollar Tree. I will cut them down to size. These are perfect for the bottom of these Dollar Tree pallets. Just put 4 in each corner, and they really help to not scratch your surfaces on whatever you're putting your little coasters on. To protect our transfers, I'm just going to use some dishwasher safe Mod Podge and put a nice layer over top of these transfers. We're going to need 2 of these Dollar Tree mini wood pallets so we can create a set of tea light sconces. And grab 2 of these fancy schmancy frames from Dollar Tree while you're at it. I love having these in my stash. We're going to take some of my Waverly chalk paint in the ink color and a pouncer and just tappity tap 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 all over these frames. I do not want full coverage. This is the color scheme I'm going for with this today. And I am taking that pouncer and that same paint and going over the palettes. Remix this idea with what works best for your home and your color palette. This is just something I had in mind that I've been wanting to try since I've painted these beautiful frames that Dollar Tree has several different colors. On the back of the frames, I'm going to take some of my Dixie Belle gold gilding wax, just do a light dusting. This is the part that we're going to attach the palettes to. If you don't have this stuff, no worries. You can grab some gold metallic paints and get the same result. Just make sure your brush is fairly dry as you're going over, so you do have a little bit of that black shining through, or whatever your main color is. I'm using 2 of Dollar Tree's tea lights because they have this little lip at the top and they're perfect for this project. You can use whatever tea light you would like. I recommend whatever it is having a little bit of a lip. You're going to put your piece together so it looks like this. Once you have it completely assembled, you'll see here that the little tea light sits right there. To attach the palettes, I'm going to be using some Type-On wood glue and some hot glue. Just putting a little bit on the edges of the palettes and then pressing them gently on the back of the inside of these frames and allowing this to dry. You want to make sure it's dry before you start the next process because we're going to have to poke holes around the palettes. For our attachment, I'm just going to use some of this jewelry gauge wire that I keep in my stash. This stuff is really manipulatable and it's kind of tough. So I used a pair of needle nose pliers to help me finagle it around to keep it in place when I'm doing different things. As you can see here, it holds that tea light perfectly, just settles right on top of that gauge wire. I used a little tool just to kind of pop holes through the back and then fed that wire through until the tea light caught and held in place. And then I just bent them on each side, and there are several different ways you can do this. For the sake of time, I just grabbed some painter's tape, which you'll see me do in just a second, and put right over the ends. You could also grab some brown craft paper, put on the back and tape it or glue it down. This is going to help prevent any scratching on your wall. And then add whatever hanger you would like. You could also use the hanger that is already on the frames and put them on your wall. I did also have some of that black jewelry gauge wire and used that in one of these sconces so you could see what it looked like with the black wire. And I took some of my gilding wax and painted over the silver wire, making it gold so it matched the rest of the frames. I'm always looking for new ideas for Dollar Tree's wood pallets. I'm also always looking for new ways to use some upcycled glass. So we're going to take 3 of these wood pallets and turn them into floral wall decor. And to do that, we're going to need to bring on in the miter shears. We're going to need to use this to cut down these pallets into really just one into 2 pieces. So we can add 2 pieces onto the end of one of each of the pallets, if that makes sense. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Let's roll on. I'm cutting down some little popsicle bits so this way we can use them as a brace to hold those pallets together that we cut down. You can use whatever you would like. To attach them, I'm going to be using some Titebond Quick and Thick and some hot glue. Gonna smush them both in here, not overlapping them, and then allow this to dry completely before we move on to the next part. So if you want your pallets to actually become a square, this is what it's going to take. I'm going to paint up these glass pieces. You could absolutely leave them clear if you would like. I'm going to grab some of my Waverly chalk paint in the ink color and tappity tap 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 with a pouncer all over them. I applied 2 full coats to each piece. We're going to take these squares and make them diamonds, kind of. Mostly. That's how we're going to put the hangers on the back, okay? This is how I also decided. This is about as measurement-y as you're ever going to see me get, people. I know you don't, I usually wing it, but look at me. I got the ruler here. I measured it out, found a spot. Pretty level too. I'm pretty proud of myself. Next, I grabbed my favorite hammer in hooks. These are little sawtooth hammer in hooks. They're really easy to use. You just bring on in your little hammer, and before I get a whole bunch of comments going, Brandy, where did you get that hammer? Target, in the Bullseye Playground. And it was last year, people, so I can't promise if you go running there now that you're gonna find it. Okay, it's super cute. I know, don't hate on me. Anyhow, this is how easy it is. Just a little tappity tap and it's in there. Next, we're gonna grab some Dollar Tree metal ribbon. And I know many of you struggle finding this, so if you can't find it at Dollar Tree, you can also grab some at Hobby Lobby if you got a Hobby Lobby local to you. But I mean, really use whatever you would like for this. I'm using this as basically the hanger for these. Measure them down to size, wrap them around the glass, and if you wrap them snug enough, this is not my first rodeo with this, I've done this with cans and several different glass pieces, they hold as long as the metal is tight. And we're going to call on in the stapler so we can attach these with some hot glue and make sure that they're on there really, really well. I am so happy with how amazing these turned out. What a great way to put to use some of those old glass pieces you got laying around your house. And the wood pallets too. If you're anything like me, you have these Dollar Tree wood pallets in your stash, and you also have bits of this particular palette or pieces where you've messed up and they're just kind of sitting around. You don't want to throw them away and you don't know what to use them for. So I want to show you a cool way that you can kind of repurpose them to create one piece of home decor. You're going to cut them all down so this way they look very cohesive, and then space them apart as if they're all one piece. Take some wood glue and some hot glue, a couple of popsicle sticks, and just attach everything, leaving those gaps so this way you can't tell where one ends and one starts. When I had all of them on there, I then took some single popsicle sticks that were not cut into bits, added more hot glue and wood glue over top the bits, and allowed that to dry. So this way everything was on there really well. I'm going to paint my piece using these 3 colors. Feel free to paint yours whatever color you would like, or to stain it whatever color you would like. Again, make this as big as you would like, or take several of these, glue them together like this, and then attach them sideways for an even wider piece. There's so many different ways that you could put these extra bits together to repurpose them so you don't have to throw anything away. I decided to just grab some florals and take some twine and wrap them all around the bottom. You could use this for several different things. I just decided to use mine as a little floral holder piece. I took a napkin that I had in my stash, this little decorative napkin, super pretty, and I cut it down into pieces, just kind of wrapped it around, and I also glued this down. If you don't want to glue anything down onto your piece, you don't have to. You could use some floral wire and just attach it like that. This is just what worked best for me. This is super simple to do, and it gives a really high-end feel. Such a great way to reuse those palette bits you have sitting around in your stash. If you enjoyed these Dollar Tree palette DIYs, check out this video right here for more ideas. As always, people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time.